Hello, my spectacular pre-calculus class. We are ready for another online adventure. Today, we will use reduction formulas to simplify an expression. The double angle formulas that we talked about yesterday can be used to derive the reduction formulas. If you were to look in your ebook on page 588, you will see one of the reduction formulas for, this is the double angle formula for cosine of 2 theta. We're going to use it to get one of our reduction formulas. We're going to add 2 sine squared of theta to both sides. Then we're going to subtract cosine of 2 theta from both sides. Then we're going to divide each side by 2. And here we have sine squared of theta is equal to 1 minus cosine of 2 theta divided by 2. You see, that is one of our first reduction formulas. So we use the double angle formulas to get a reduction formula. Reduction formulas allow us to rewrite even powers of sine or cosine in terms of a first power of the cosine again. The reduction formulas will allow us to rewrite the even powers of sine or cosine in terms of the first power of cosine. Let's see what these reduction formulas are really talking about. If I have the cosine squared of theta is equal to 1 plus cosine of 2 theta divided by 2. Well, here theta is equal to 15 degrees. So I'd have to set 2 times 15 degrees. And I would have cosine squared of 15 degrees is equal to 1 plus the cosine of 30 degrees divided by 2. Here I have an even power of cosine that has been rewritten as a first power of cosines. An even power rewritten as a first power. So we rewrite an even power of cosine. Let me move this up so you can see it. We rewrite even power of a cosine in terms of the first power of cosine. See, even power, first power. Okay. Let's look at another of our reduction formulas. We have sine squared of theta is equal to 1 minus cosine of 2 theta over 2. Theta here is 22.5 degrees. So twice 22.5 degrees gives us 45 degrees. And here we have the sine squared of an even power, which has been reduced to a cosine of a first power. Even power reduced to a cosine of a first power. Let's also look at our tangent squared. Here, my theta is 2x. I have to say twice that, so it's 2 times 2x. So here I have an even power of tangent, which has been reduced to a first power of cosine. Let us recall that cosine squared of theta is the same thing as cosine of theta squared, which is the cosine of theta times the cosine of theta. Now we're going to do a reduction formula, and we're going to write an equivalent expression for cosine to the 4th power of x that does not involve any powers of sine or cosine greater than 1. So we're going to start off with cosine raised to the 4th power of x. That's the same thing as cosine squared of x squared. And remember, we had one of our reduction formulas right here. So I'm going to replace the cosine squared of x, you see, with 1 plus the cosine of 2x. The x is acting as the theta now. And I'm going to square the numerator, and I'm going to square the denominator. Now, when I square the numerator, I'm going to FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. So our first term will be 1, our outer cosine of 2x, our inner cosine of 2x. Our last term's cosine squared of 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. Well, 1 cosine of 2x plus 1 cosine of 2x will give us 2 cosines of 2x. Then I bring down the other terms. I'm going to put each term in the numerator divided by the 4. So it's 1 over 4 plus 2 cosine of 2x over 4 plus cosine squared of 2x over 4. Well, 2 1 to 2 once, 2 going to 4 twice. So we bring down the 1/4 and bring down 1/2 times the cosine of 2x. There's a 1 understood to be in front of the cosine squared of 2x. So I make it 1/4 times the cosine squared of 2x. And remember now, we still have, let me go back and show you this. We're trying to get all of the cosines in terms of the first power. Here is a second power, you see. So we got to make this a first power. So bring down the 1/4. Let me move this over. We bring down the 1/4, bring down the 1/2 cosine of 2x. Well, our theta here, you see our theta this time is 2x. So we have to say 2 times the 2x, which gives us the 4x. And I bring down the 1/4. I bring down the 1/2 times the cosine of 2x. Then I'm going to rewrite what's inside the parentheses as 1 over 2 plus cosine of 4x over 2. Next, I bring down again the 1/4 plus the 1/2 cosine of 2x. I'm going to use my distributive property now. 1/4 times 1/2 is 1/8. 1/4 times cosine of 4x over 2 gives us 1 cosine of 4x over 8. Now, I can only add and subtract fractions when I have like denominators. So 1/4 is the same thing as 2/8 plus the 1/8 will give me 3/8. I bring down the 1/2 cosine of 2x. And then I bring down the 1/8 cosine of 4x. And notice that each one of these now has a power of 1, a power of 1. See, we have reduced from an even power of cosine to a first power of cosine. That is our reduction formula. And as you are reviewing this video, always remember to stop, rewind, review, stop, rewind, review as many times as necessary. My love goes out to you.